Hello and welcome, everyone. We are so glad you made it here today or tonight, whenever you're watching us. Tonight, we're going to talk about healthy weight loss and what does that look like. There are so many questions that we get all the time, and so we just thought it would be a good idea to just jump on tonight and talk about just the different things that we can do to address those issues because everyone seems to want to lose weight and everyone seems to have questions about it. So, Kelly, we're glad you're here. This is my sister and my partner. I would say my partner in crime, but that would not be a true statement. But she's definitely my partner in life, and she she's going to kick us off tonight with our first question and answer.
So, hello, everyone. And I think, it's such a hot topic these days of weight loss and what's the best way and things of that nature. And really, it's a combination of things. It's not just about food reduction. It's about a balanced diet. It's about regular physical activity. And, something that's come to light in the last couple of years is sleep and what a huge role it plays in not only weight loss, but our overall health. So it's so important to get adequate sleep each night. And, from what I hear researchers, experts say, 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And if you are lacking in sleep, you have a tendency to overeat and you have a tendency to maybe overeat and not stay on the health track that you should be on. Also, managing stress is a huge thing for weight loss. And you can it's so much better to balance things out with those four things as opposed to doing crash diets. Because when you do a crash diet, you can get results quickly, but it's not a sustainable change. And
Right.
what's going to happen is, as soon as you quit this fad crash diet, you haven't gradually changed your lifestyle. So you just go back to your old habits and you end up with the same result.
And you normally end up with more weight on top of that, which is a problem. And it adds to that whole stress factor again.
Right. And when you lose weight quickly like that, you also,
Mhm.
not only do you lose fat, but you lose muscle.
Yeah.
And so you lose your muscle. And then when you discontinue the crash diet and you gain weight back, well, guess what? You gain fat back. So you're
Yeah.
in a worse shape than you were when you started out. So it is truly about balance and, balancing a healthy diet, activity, managing sleep and stress.
Absolutely. And then for the second question that we see all the time is how many pounds should I lose per week? Well, in to me, in the just in the society that we live in, everything we want fast, right? Everything needs to be fast. Everything needs to happen quickly. And, I would say that you didn't gain the weight quickly, so I wouldn't try to lose it quickly. It goes back to stay away from the crash diets and try to do this the right way so you don't have to keep doing this. So, 1 to 2 pounds per week should be your max. And that's in the beginning if you have a lot of weight to lose. Again, you didn't gain all this weight overnight and you don't want to lose it overnight. You, I always say, enjoy the journey. And that sounds really silly, but as you are losing weight and you're regaining your health or you're regaining your life or you're being able to get into the clothes that you couldn't get into before, those are all successes that you need to be celebrating. You need to enjoy that and not look for the rapid weight loss because in that you lose so much more than just that. It's like Kelly just talked about. You lose the muscle in that rapid weight loss. And that's what we're trying to stay away from, especially as we get older. We need to be building that muscle and saving all the muscle that we have, not worrying about losing that number on the scale. We shouldn't be. I think it's Neil. Oh, I can't remember who it is now, but anyway, he calls people scale monkeys because they're just completely obsessed with the scale, and we can't be that. We can, but we're never going to get out of this cycle if we don't.
These are all good points. And you want to know, I'm going to show you a calculator that will help you calculate things because you want to know, like people ask, how many calories should I eat to lose weight? And like you said, Kim, the scale, it incorporates so much. Like it's not
Yes.
just about your weight because it could be affected by, did you eat something more salty last night? Or do you have more water weight today? And so many people put such a huge emphasis on that. But anyway, so how many calories should I eat to lose weight? And that all depends on your age, your gender, what is your activity level, what are your goals. A common method is to subtract like 500 to 750 calories per day from your maintenance level. But it's best to use a calculator to factor and figure all of those things out. So I have let me see if I can get this to come up. So I'm going to share, I think. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Okay. Do you see that?
I see. Yes. And it's calculator.net.
Yes. So when you go to
Okay.
calculator.net, they have like all different kind of calculators. Like they have financial, mortgage, all this, but they also
Okay.
have so you can see financial, fitness and health, math and other. So if you go to fitness and health, they have a lot of different calculators there too. Like you can calculate your BMI and things like that. But I put in my information to say, how many calories should I have per day? And this is just to like maintain my weight. I would need 1,731. Now that was exercising. I put 4 to 5 days a week. I really exercise about 6 days a week. But anyway, you put your activity level and it factors all of that in. And so if I wanted to do mild weight loss, just at a slow, really slow pace, I could reduce that down to 1481. If I wanted to be a little more aggressive about it and do 1 pound a week, it would be 1231. And if you're going to extreme weight loss per week, it'd be 731 per day, but I wouldn't recommend that. Like, I think that
I would,
when you
yeah.
get that low, you're going to be losing too much muscle mass.
Well, and you're
So,
going to feel bad. You are
yeah.
going to feel bad. If you drop down to that few calories a day, you're going to be a miserable person. And
Mhm.
that's not, thank you for sharing that, Kelly. That was good. That's a
You'll
good
be
reference.
hangry.
Yeah.
You'll be hangry.
And Kelly is one to get hangry. So we don't want that. Kelly needs her food and her sleep.
Most
So,
definitely.
and so the next is something that we hear all the time. And if you are on social media at all, you will hear people that are so terrified of carbs. Do I have to give up my carbs? And really, what we need to be worried about is the ultra processed food. We need to be worried about if it comes in a box, if it comes in a bag, if, those types of things. If we're picking up fruit and we're picking up vegetables, we don't have to worry about the ultra processed thing. If you pick up a box and you try to read it and you can't pronounce the ingredients in it, you don't need it. Even if you've had it in the past and you just think it's so good, no, it's not serving you, right? And life is too short and we work too hard to allow things in our lives that don't serve us and that will not serve us in the future. And our goal is to be strong and healthy and independent as long as we can. And again, we're all getting older, no one's getting younger, and we need to be nurturing our bodies and making sure that what we're eating is quality food. There's a doctor that I listen to, and she says that when she comes home with her food, she blesses all of her ingredients. She thanks God for her ingredients that she's just bought because that's going to be her fuel, her nourishment for the week. And that just makes me stop and think about it a little differently than, I would have a hard time bringing home, whatever crunch and munch or whatever, any kind of that stuff that I used to eat that never nourished me. It might have brought me pleasure temporarily, but it wasn't anything that lasted. It would bring on the guilt and the sugar crash and all the rest of those things. So we need to not worry about the whole grains and the fruits and the vegetables. We need to worry about the sugars and the refined food and all that. That's what we need to stay away from. And that's going to make us, and it does make us, the outsiders in our businesses, in our workplace, when you go into the break room, people are going to give you a hard time. I can't tell you as an adult the ridicule that I have taken. And I'm sure that some of you could tell stories too about, choosing to take care of yourself and to nourish your body when other people are not. So I encourage you to just be selfish. That's the only time probably you'll ever hear me say that, but be selfish and take care of yourself. And no, you do not have to give up carbs. So that's very important.
Right. I mean, you're worth it to stand up for yourself, and you
Absolutely.
don't have to make a big deal out of it. I just don't make a big deal out of it and take care of myself. Okay. The next question is, do I need to exercise to lose weight? And I'm so glad I have this question because I I do the fitness plans and things like that for our program, and I love it. Like I geek out on it and get excited about it. But no, technically, you don't have to exercise to lose weight because weight loss is primarily diet driven. But exercise will help, and it helps you preserve and build muscle. It
Mm-hmm.
supports metabolism, and it improves your mental health. So improving your mental health, it puts you in a better place, mentally, and prepares you for what you're trying to accomplish and do. So I would say an aim for a mix of cardio, strength training, and flexibility work on a weekly basis. And it will help you in your weight loss journey. But the
Absolutely.
weight loss is primarily driven by diet and nutrition.
Yes. Yes. The old saying is you can't out exercise a bad diet. And that's very true. I've tried. So I know I can tell you firsthand it doesn't work. So what kind of exercise is best for fat loss? So cardio. So if you're walking, you can swim, you can bike, you can do the HIIT exercises. I have really found I've been so fortunate to have my grandkids lately, and where I maybe can't go out and go for a run. After we eat, I take them out and we all go for a family walk, and they have a blast. And it's so good just to get up and move after you eat. All the research shows that helps your body digest so much better. So we're going to do those cardio activities. We're going to strength train. And if you're not comfortable strength training, which I have not been. Kelly has always been really good at that, and that's never been one of my strengths. To me, if I can get out and run, I don't have to count. I don't have to do anything. I can just run. But the older I get, the more that I realize that I have to lift weights. If I want to be independent, Kelly's like, yes. If I want to be independent as I get older, if I want to be able to keep up with my grandkids, and I'm telling you, they expect me to. There's nothing Lolly can't do. Whatever they can do, Lolly has to do. And that's okay. I like that because that's how I want them to remember me, as being a part of their lives and being involved in all that they do, whether it's climbing on the tree or whatever it is. I want to be there. The most to me, we're going to do the cardio, we're going to do the strength training, we're going to be consistent, because consistency is where it's at. That's where we're going to change our lifestyle. That's where we're going to pick up and be comfortable in all that. Strength training, I'm telling you, if you're not comfortable with it, just do it. Just do it. In the app, it tells you what to do. It gives you a demonstration of how to do it. Learn, because that's how you're going. And then give yourself a couple weeks and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I know what that is. I can do that now. That's at least been my my experience so far.
I was going to say too, Kim, that strength training as we get older, it does help with bone strength too. So that's just another reason to do it. Like it helps you be stronger as we age, like to have stronger muscles to get up and down, to
Yes.
have a strong core, but it also helps with bone health. Like because as women age, they lose so much of their bone strength. And so we're combating that with doing heavy resistance training. So anyway, so next question is, what do I do if I hit a plateau, but yet I'm doing everything right? Well, plateaus are very normal when you're in a weight loss journey, because as your body loses weight, as you lose weight, your body starts to burn fewer calories. So you can try adjusting your calories slightly. You can try increasing your activity level a bit, start incorporating strength training to reset progress. or reach out to your coach so that we can help you, because that's what we're here for, is to help you make those adjustments along the way.
Absolutely. And that's so important because we will hit those plateaus and there are ways around it. You just have to figure out what's going to work best for you. So the next question is, how can I stay motivated? I really can't remember how long it took me to lose 100 pounds. It took me a little while, but it took me a long time to gain it. So, um, how I stayed motivated was I had realistic goals. I knew what my long term goal was, which I surpassed my long term goal by like 40 pounds. I never thought I would ever see that weight again in my life. So you set those short term goals, but you have a long term goal in mind, and then you celebrate, but not with food, unless it's like watermelon, and then I can always celebrate with watermelon. But what I have done my entire life was, if I did so well and I lost weight, I would celebrate with a meal that made me gain weight, and that was the whole reason that I was having to, it makes no sense. But I think that's what the majority of us do. So I think we have to be really careful about learning to celebrate that in a different way. Go buy yourself a new shirt that's a size smaller. Go, sleep in a little longer, sleep with all of that research. And Kelly talked about that earlier with all the new research on sleep. That has never been a luxury that I've had. My dad never slept, and I'm working on it. I am developing a good sleep routine, and I'm always so excited if I wake up and it's past 4 o'clock. I feel like I have done something really well. So find your community, be active in our community. A lot of times we'll get into something and we'll just kind of stay in the sidelines and just kind of watch. I'm guilty of that myself. But when you get in and get engaged with people, you will stay motivated, because when you're not motivated, they probably are. And then you can get that momentum from them, and just concentrate on staying away from the food rewards, because I found when I started my journey that I was rewarding my kids with food. And so when it came time to celebrate something, I didn't know how to do it without food. So anyway, so that's just something. And we also, when we're sad, we go to food. So, we need to find those other alternatives, those other avenues to celebrate or to mourn, whichever way it happens for you. But look to those around you. When you're not motivated, look for people around you that are.
And I'll say this, that, in you being mindful of that and making that change, because I did the same thing. And then when I finally got serious, I was like, okay, if something great happens, I'm going to reward myself with a new workout shirt, or, something like that. So, because, and you were saying that you did that with your kids. So you're passing that down from generation
Absolutely.
to generation and just creating that problem. So kudos to you for making that change, and your kids can make that change too, because they grow up with that and then they do it to their kids,
Yes. Yes, they do. I want to break that generational curse. That's what I think it is.
Right. Okay, so how can hormones affect your weight loss? Hormones like insulin, cortisol, thyroid, and sex hormones play key roles. So imbalances like due to menopause or thyroid disease can greatly impact your metabolism and your appetite. And I think as we get older, we start to experience some of those things. Things start slowly changing. So if you suspect you're having hormone issues, we're going to say to consult your healthcare provider and reach out to them so they can check your hormone levels and just give you advice and information on how to manage that. But it can greatly affect weight loss. So I would say reach out to your healthcare provider if you suspect that.
And that just ties right into the next question, is it harder to lose weight as you get older? And I will tell you, yes, it is.
Yes.
It is, because things are changing. And we've talked about the fact that we need to strength train because muscle weighs more, right? So that means it burns more. So the more muscle we have, the more our body is working for us. So we need to think about that when we're like, man, I don't want to get up and go lift today. Get up and go lift. Do it because it's going to help your journey on so many levels. But your muscle mass is changing. There's just all kinds of things going on as we get older. And I never thought I was going to get older. So this has been kind of a transition period for me, but it's okay. It's okay. But we need to prioritize protein. And we need to make sure we're doing that strength training, and we need to make sure we sleep. It's all those things. But that prioritizing that protein is a new thing for me. So that's something that I know Kelly has gotten really good at, and I am really. It's a thought process for me that I always have to go through in my head. But those three things are very important as we age. So we need to make sure that we're focusing. We keep that at the front of our mind because we have so much. We're inundated with so many things that it's really easy to let those important things get lost. So if we can remember to focus on that protein and get that strength training in and sleep, go to bed early. Go to bed as early as you can. You'll love it. You'll love it. It'll be so great.
Okay. And then another thing that can affect your weight loss is emotional eating. So, how can I stop emotional eating? And yes, we grew up in that atmosphere, and it's something
Yes.
that we've always been affected by until we got a handle on it. And so I'm going to say first, pause and check your feelings and think, am I eating this because I'm really hungry? Or am I eating this because I'm bored or I'm stressed or something's going on? I will use food as procrastination. And so
Yes.
I have to say, when if I have a hard task or something like that, sometimes I might find myself wandering around the kitchen and I have to just say, okay, wait, what are you doing? Like, you're not hungry. You're just procrastinating on doing this task. So check your feelings. And then, I might go out for a walk around the block or just to click that in your mind, to have that mindset change, something to change. So if I go out and walk around the block, or maybe I call Ken and say, hey, what are you doing? Or just talk for a minute, because it goes away. It does go away if you change that thought pattern. And if you stock up on nourishing snacks and healthy food, then, it's better to go to that than have, the things in there that you don't want to eat or you shouldn't eat, because you will eat them. Like, at some point in time, you are going to eat them. It's just hard to have those things in the house and not consume them. So I would say get rid of the unhealthy stuff and try to put in healthy snacks, like, so you can go grab a little cutie orange or, a handful of nuts or something like that. So, and then, if you're really struggling with it, I would say reach out to your coach or talk to a therapist if it's, a really big deal, like affecting your life. But you have to change the thought pattern. And so, like I said, I'll take the dog out on a walk for, just down to the end of the street and back. And it's gone by the time you get back.
Yeah, and you said something, Kelly, I thought was really important. You said that something that you shouldn't eat. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, you can't eat that," talking to me, and I'm like, "Well, no, I can, but
Right.
again, that food doesn't serve me, so I'm not going to. It's not that someone I'm going to be punished. It would be punishment if I did eat whatever it was that wasn't healthy for me, that wasn't health promoting, because no one's taking anything away from me. I have gained so much by losing the weight. We had gone to a restaurant last night, which we do not do very often because I just like to cook my food. I like to know what's in my food. I like to know the hands that prepared my food. All those things are very important to me. And this woman, we were at a Mexican food place and we were ordering vegetable fajitas, and she could not get past it. Okay, but what is your meat? I'm like, we don't want meat. We want vegetables. You want, okay, I promise you, even the people everybody at the table ate meat except my husband and I. And they were all like, she doesn't want meat. There's no meat. And I was like, I don't know why that was so hard for her, but it was very difficult for her. So anyway, the whole purpose of what we try to do is to change our lifestyle, because we've all been on countless diets, right? And a diet, you can't live on a diet, but you can live a lifestyle. And when you choose to live a lifestyle that serves you, you're going to be changed forever. So it's not a quick fix. It's you focus on your habits. What are my daily habits? I would, if it's my day to do cardio, the night before I go to bed, I set out my shoes and my shorts and my shirt and I put it in my bathroom. So I know when I get up in the morning and I walk in there, that's what I see. And I'm like, today, that's my day today. You set yourself up. Matthew McConaughey says you be kind to your future self. I love that saying because that's what we're doing. We're building those habits that then just become second nature to us. We don't have to think about it. We know that on Monday is strength training, Tuesday is cardio, Wednesday is strength training. You get those down in your head, and then that's just who you become. And instead of reaching for a Coke, you get a sparkling water, or instead of reaching for French fries, you get an apple, or you air fry your fries. You just make those changes, and they just become natural. So that's how you learn to enjoy it, because you're thinking about the process. You're not thinking I'm being deprived. You're thinking I am being kind to my future self. I make my coffee at night too. I make my coffee at night, so when I get up in the morning, it's done. I think that's kind to my future self. So it's just my added bonus in there.
So why do we sometimes gain weight after dieting? And it's because if diets are too restrictive, if you
Mhm.
are, just being so restricted and depriving yourself of things, you're not teaching yourself sustainable habits that you can live for a lifetime. It's not the lifestyle change like Kim just spoke about. So successful weight maintenance comes from, making gradual changes, having behavior support. It's not about willpower alone. And so I think about, for example, this comes to mind, like, and I'm not saying anything bad about anybody who's taking a GLP-1 or anything like that. I mean, some people, it may be necessary. So you do what you need to do. But I personally know people that are taking it for the shortcut. And what happens is many of them, and I have a friend that has done this, that has taken the GLP-1 and then got off of it and instantly gained 10 pounds, like in a very short period of time. And it's because he didn't learn, the gradual sustainable habits that come with living a lifestyle, not doing a diet. He just took the GLP-1, wasn't hungry, didn't eat, but bam, when he stops taking it, it all comes back. So
It's
that's
that quick
why,
fix.
yes. And there's not a quick fix. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not a quick fix. It's, changing your life with sustainable habits that you can do for the rest of your life. And it
Yeah.
can be enjoyable and it is good, if you make it be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about your mindset. It truly is. And once you get that momentum going, you're kind of unstoppable. And so it's something that you have to work at. I mean, Kelly and I have both worked at it, because that's not how we grew up. That was not the environment that we grew up in. So as we go through these steps, and as we go through our daily lives, if we can remember those things that we've talked about tonight that are important, and keep that at the front of your mind, and when people start questioning what you're doing, just say, this is working for me, and so I'm going to keep going until it doesn't work for me anymore. And then nobody can argue with that. I mean, they can, but you don't have to. You don't have to. So just keep that in mind, and, reach out to us if you have any questions, or if there's something that we can help you with, or if you're tempted, if you're like, that looks really good. When when I worked at my last job, popcorn is a big thing for me, and they had a popcorn popper there, and it was loaded with coconut. They'd say, "Oh, but it's coconut oil. It's so healthy." I'd be like, "No," but I wanted it. It didn't make it it didn't make it easier, but I always felt so strong when I was able to resist it. So I encourage y'all to just keep on. And that's how we're going to get to where we want to be. That's how we hit our goals. Do you have anything else, Kelly?
I think these are all great tips and all, questions that we've had before. So hopefully, tonight helped with some of the answers and some of the strategies that you can do to offset those things. And like Kim said, we're here. So reach out because we want to help. That's what we're here for, is to help you. So that's all I have.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us tonight. And we will see y'all hopefully on Thursday for a cooking show.
11. It's at 11 o'clock on Thursday.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, yeah, okay. So I did at least have the date right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, reach out if y'all have any questions, and we will see y'all soon. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye, Lori.
Bye.